What's going on, guys? It is Co-Central here, and today I am bringing you my personal top 20 roller coasters that I have ridden. Now, I have not gotten the chance to go overseas to ride some of the great coasters over there, so this list will strictly be the coasters in the U.S., which is perfectly fine. I have ridden some great coasters in the U.S. I think I have ridden 216 coasters to be exact, and it has been a heck of a time riding all those coasters. You'll see some great coasters on this list, like Lightning Rod. I just got back from a trip to Dollywood, and it sure was a good one. So let's get started. At our number 20 spot, we actually have a coaster that I actually had no idea would make this list. It is Monster. Now, this coaster is just fun. It was the first ever Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster to come to the U.S. and it has some awesome hang time. In that big massive loop, you are just hanging, and that's what I love. The hang time and the drop are the two best things about this coaster, and that's what I love about this coaster. Afterburns at our number 19 spot, and it is definitely one of my favorite B&M inverts. It is a powerhouse. It is so intense. It is glossy smooth. You will not find any rattle on this coaster. The color scheme, it looks awesome. It is just so intense. It has some great inversions. The main ride just basically filled with inversions, so that's basically like the only thing this ride needs, and that's why this coaster is coming at my number 19 spot. It is an intense coaster. Coming in at number 18 is Intimidator at Carowinds. What a graceful ride. This coaster is one of the best B&M hypers I've ridden. Like I said, Carowinds has some insane coasters. Best Giga, best second best hyper, and second best invert. But Carowinds has some nice rides, but let's talk about Intimidator. What a glossy, smooth ride. The trains are weirder than normal ones, but they're nice. You are just flying out of your seat, and that nice floater airtime hill is just glossy. That's why I like more like intense coasters, so that's why B&M hypers aren't as high on the list as some of the other rides. At our number 17th spot, we have Montu, my favorite B&M invert. Wow, this coaster is insane. Like when you go into the trenches, you have no idea what's gonna happen. This ride is packed with inversions, great inversions. My personal favorite coaster, Busch Gardens Tampa, and it personally is one of my favorite B&M inverts, and probably my favorite B&M inverts, and a great coaster. Coming in at a number 16th spot, it is the second tallest coaster in the world, Top Thrill Dragster. Now, first, I did not really say that this would be like in my top 20, but now since I've ridden it in the front row, got some more experiences on it, I think I would move it into the top 20, and here it is. So what a great coaster! What an adrenaline rush! If you're in the front seat, your wind is flying in your face. It is insane. What an adrenaline rush! My personal favorite B&M hypercoaster is coming in at the number 15 spot. It is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. What a fun ride. Most of the ride is packed with floater airtime. That first floater airtime hill is massive, and you get tons of airtime on that. You just flying out of your seat. And you also have that kind of little ejector airtime hill right before the mid-course brake run, and that banks near the end over the water. I think that's a good addition. I love that. I love how it feels like you could touch the water, and overall this coaster is just an insane ride. Coming in at the number 14 spot is a coaster that I've always loved. It is the new Texas Giant. It was the first RMC I've ridden, and it was the first RMC. What a intense and what a great coaster. You get tons of airtime. It is very spread out. You get tons of airtime. I love those hills near the end. It has a great drop back, definitely best in the drop. It's just massive, and those bank turns are really fun. Just a fantastic coaster. Storm Chaser is coming in at the number 13 spot, and this is a fantastic roller coaster. Great fit for Kentucky Kingdom when they came. When we first saw the animation, we were saying, that may not be the best RMC, but this is close to this is definitely one of the better RMCs. What a fun and intense coaster, packed with that massive airtime hill in the front. And it's just insane. The airtime is insane. And the Trick Track Double Up is insane too. You go flying out of your seat on all those elements, and it's just a great coaster. At the number 12 spot, it is Mystic Timbers, a coaster that we were thinking it was way better than we thought. It was gonna be. We thought it was just gonna be a nice GCI, but it was way better than we were expecting. I love the fast pace, packed with airtime hills, ejector airtime hills. Yes, for most, like a ton of everybody, the shed was disappointing. But at least they got something in there instead of just a brake run. But it was, like, how they hyped it up wasn't really that good. But the coaster, you just go out and back, GCI, great coaster. It's really hard to get footage of just because it's so back there, but it's still an awesome coaster. You have that tunnel at the back, great tunnel, and it's just packed with airtime hills. And I love Mystic Timbers, definitely favorite coaster at Kings Island. Just missing the top 10 is a Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. What a fun coaster. I was not expecting this coaster to even make my top 20, but it did. It is insane. It is a Hyper GTX, and I am very surprised there is still not any coasters like this. It is just an insane ride. Tons of ejector airtime. It's kind of like a twister coaster. Those banks near the end, are very intense. And those insane ejector airtime hills, you are absolutely flying out of your seat. Some of the best moments of airtime you'll ever experience on a coaster. And this coaster, wow, you just have to ride it. Just making the top 10 is Sky Rush at Hershey Park, an intimate hyper coaster, and this ride is awesome. I got to ride this coaster 2 years ago, and I had a great experience. I'm looking forward to going ride it again. The seats, some people might complain about the restraints. I personally don't, just because they don't really bother me that much. But I saw other people complaining about them. But the all around other rides, it's kind of feel like you're out of control, flying through these insane ejector airtime hills and twisting through these banks. At our number 9 spot, it is Outlaw Run, a great RMC, awesome RMC. It is just, you get some good airtime. Like most of the coasters on this list, airtime. Some great airtime. Yeah, this coaster is insane. You get whipped around that huge bank turn. You get sideways airtime. The drop, you kind of get a pre-drop, and then you go down this massive drop that's bigger than how the height of it is. Awesome backseat, like always. Drop is the best on there. And then you go through these nice banks. They're awesome coaster. Coming in at the number 8 spot is a coaster I've not ridden in a long time. I rode it the first year it was opened. It is Twisted Colossus. This is just pure brilliance by Alan Shelkey. I mean, it's really cool how you get to ride on 2 tracks. The airtime, awesome. I think that has the most airtime on any coaster in California. And I just love the dueling aspect. That 0G stall is just a really fun element. The drops, I just love the dueling parts. The restraints didn't, the only time I rode it was with the seatbelts thing, and when I went on the airtime, it kind of did hurt a little bit just because I forgot to put the seatbelt where it didn't go right under the lap bar, so when you go flying out of your seat on the airtime, it doesn't hurt, but it still makes it at my number 8 spot. What an awesome coaster. You should. Taking the number 7 spot is Maverick at Cedar Point. This coaster is an Infinite Blitz coaster, and it is a fan favorite of all coaster enthusiasts. I personally love this coaster, of course. That's why I said the number 7 spot. But this coaster is awesome. That beyond vertical drop, the launch, right? It hits you right when you don't know what's going to happen. It hits you then. There's 2 inversions. There's over those really steep banks. And that bank over the water with the splashes, that's really nice. And that one airtime, the airtime hills on this coaster are great. The one airtime hill right after the banks, after the drop, you go flying. One of the best airtime hills ever, and sure is an awesome coaster. Coming in at number 7 is Intimidator 305 at Kings Dominion. This coaster has the height, the speed, the intensity, but not the good restraints. Even though they padded the over-shoulder part of the restraints, they really didn't. That really doesn't do anything. The hard part that pushes down your thigh really hurts. So when you go over those airtime hills. But anyway, everybody almost like grays out at the bottom of the first drop, and some even black out due to the G-force 4.5. I know some people aren't fans of this ride because of the rapid transitions, but I know a lot of people are fans of Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Now, first of all, this coaster actually moved up from my number 12 spot on my top 15 coasters I've ridden to my number 5 spot. I just got a great experience, and I really got to like get the full experience on like almost every single seat, and I just got to enjoy this ride so much. What I loved about this coaster is just glides across the track. It is fast, just glides across the track. You get some nice floater airtime. The drop is insane. I like the location right on Lake Erie. Man, smack down Lake Erie, great location. I mean, this is just, and it's also glossy smooth. It was built in 2000, and it's just a great coaster. And coming in at number 4 spot is a coaster I absolutely love. It is El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. Wow, you like the airtime hills. The airtime hills are massive. These are some of the probably like the best airtime hills you ever experience. I mean, you're just flying at your seat. You kind of even like it kind of like hurts even like you go. And it's like when you go over those massive airtime hills, you are absolutely flying at your seat. And you also have these very intense bank turns. I almost grayed out on once, and like. I kind of like, it felt like I hurt my back when I was riding after the bank turns. But anyway, forget that. It is still an insane coaster. Iron Rattler is at my number 3 spot, and this coaster, I wasn't expecting it to be at my number 3 spot, but it was that good. I just got to ride it last November, and it was that good. It even made my top 3. It is insane. The quarry wall, it interacts with the quarry wall awesomely. It is like, you get some nice air times, that 10G roll, and that drop, it feels like you're on a dive coaster just hanging. In that drop, like this, like always, back is the best in the drop. The second drop off the quarry wall is insane. I know this coaster has been getting a lot of like as a lot of hype, but I mean, it used to be like way like underrated, but now it's getting like more popular, and I think it should get more popular because when it was underrated, I think it's way better than what people said it was when it was underrated. So it is coming in at my number 3 spot. At my number 2 spot is Fury 325 at Carowinds. What an awesome coaster! I love the elements. Like it even has some good air time. I mean, I know. It has had, since more people has been able to ride this coaster, it's been like, some people are saying it's been overrated. I mean, most coaster enthusiasts are saying it's overrated, but I don't think it is. It still is a great coaster. The dive under the tunnel, it goes through 2 states, which I think is awesome. And that big bank turn before, like you get sideways airtime, which is awesome sensation, a weird sensation, but an awesome sensation. And then you have some nice other airtime hills, nice banks. The drop, you feel like you're going down forever, and just an awesome coaster. So you guys guessed it, at my number 1 spot, it is Lightning Rod. It still holds up as my number 1. I literally just got back from a trip to Dollywood to ride this coaster. Even though it has those trims at the top that kind of slow it down more, it still holds up as number 1. Insane coaster. Quad down, I would say it's the best part of the ride. The drop is awesome. The bank turns are awesome, and you just are like flying through the course. It feels like when my dad gets off, he says, it feels like you're just going down a ski slope, and it really does. It feels like you're just going on forever. It's just an awesome coaster. Definitely best RMC, even though at the bottom of the drop it does bump. It is a little bumpy, but I forget that. Awesome coaster. It definitely still holds up. Best RMC, best coaster I've ridden. So that wraps up the top 20 coasters I've ridden. Some of the great coasters that missed this list, like barely missed this list, are Tatsu, Kumba, like Diamondback, and Beast, and Fahrenheit. Those are like some great coasters that missed it, like barely missed it. They're still awesome coasters, but they just weren't good enough to make the top 20 coasters I've ridden. So that wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for way more videos like off-ride videos, footage,